There are now two competing mining bills in the legislature, and one will get a hearing tomorrow. So what's the difference between the two? Political reporter Jessica Arp takes a closer look in tonight's Reality Check.
The goal, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle say, is to reform mining laws to bring back the industry in the state while preserving environmental protections. So let's take a look at two competing versions of the mining bill.
What it will do in its basics is certainty for an applicant that they're going to be able to get an answer.
A bill introduced last week by Senate and Assembly Republicans starts with a version of the bill that passed the Joint Finance Committee last year.
This bill is not made up of what I wish or what I think. It's about what I learned and about what the rest of the committee learned.
And its competition is a bill introduced by Democratic Senator Tim Cullen, who chaired a special committee on mining last fall. The first difference to point out, the timeline. The GOP bill would require a decision on an iron mining permit in 480 days. Cullen's bill would require a decision in 730 days or 2 years, with a possible extension of up to 6 months. Why does this matter? Current state law requires no timeline, and companies don't know when to expect a decision. But shorter may not be better. Last week, the Army Corps of Engineers said it may cause them to do environmental studies separate from the state, holding up the process. The second difference, public hearings. Right now, the state requires 3 hearings before a mining permit is approved, including a contested case or court-style hearing in front of a judge with no timeline. Cullen's bill would still have 3 hearings, but puts a timeline on a contested case hearing, requiring it is concluded within 680 days of the permit application. The GOP bill provides for just 1 informational hearing, and a contested case hearing only happens after a mining permit is approved. Then we get to a sticky point, environmental changes. Republicans are adamant their bill changes no environmental standards. That's true, but the bill does change how some of those standards are applied. For example, it changes restrictions on the location of a mining waste site so that it can be closer to a river or stream, doesn't take into account endangered species or whether the waste could harm groundwater. It says the DNR must presume that adverse impacts to wetlands is a necessary casualty of mining activities and allows negative impacts on those wetlands to be made up for anywhere in the state. Cullen's bill keeps primarily current environmental laws on the books. He says they don't need to be changed for mining to come back. I'm Jessica Arp with this News 3 Reality Check.
Also in dispute is where tax money from the mine would go. Cullen's bill creates a tax per ton of mined materials, with 70% going to a local fund and 30% to the State Economic Development Agency. The GOP bill taxes how much the mining companies make on the metal, 60% going to the locals and 40% to the WEDC.